Scattered showers today and a weather alert day Saturday for severe storms. I'm tracking when each round of rain moves through.
And 4 days of triple-digit heat. Our chance for severe weather doesn't stop after this week as a heat wave brings record temperatures for July 4th. How local communities are preparing for a sweltering holiday weekend. And how about a story that reads like a Mad Lib? Give me an insect, bedbug. How about a government agency, the DMV? How could those two possibly come together? We'll explain.
Woo, what a way to close the week. We got a mega heat dome on the way. What even is that? Bed bugs at the DMV and some efforts to get college sports a little bit more under control. We appreciate you ending your week with us here on this Friday. 7 p.m. at WRAL.com is our email. You know what to do. We're going to answer some of your questions from the inbox tonight. We love hearing from all of you watching at home. So keep sending your ideas and questions and everything else that's on your mind to 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. It helps us drive this show. First up, we are looking ahead at the WRAL Weather Alert Day for tomorrow. Kat Campbell's keeping an eye on some severe storms that could hit the Triangle, Cat.
And you know, what we've seen today is just an appetizer for what's on the way tomorrow. Storms today have been a bit more spotty, and they haven't been too strong. For example, what we've got moving into the Triangle right now is just plain old rain. It is moving through Jordan Lake as we speak, and it is headed for Wake County. But again, no lightning at this point, just some spotty showers that are rolling in. Tomorrow, this severe weather threat increases a bit. It's a level 1 threat in the Triangle, but the level 2 threat has been trimmed down to include our eastern counties, and this is from 3 to 9 p.m. That window, it's not going to rain and storm the entire time frame, but maybe an hour in there would be the time frame to actually deal with showers and storms. The main threat, damaging wind gusts, but lightning could disrupt your weekend plans as well. We'll see greater coverage of storms and stronger storms tomorrow as a front closes in on our area. Through noon, the radar should be pretty quiet, but we start to see a more active radar by the afternoon. And into the evening hours, that'll start to fade after sunset. Coming up, we've got a major heat wave for 4th of July week. I'll have an updated look at Mike and I's number and the heat index.
All right, we'll check in. Thank you, Kat. The heat next week is no joke. All right, we're looking at multiple days above 100 degrees, our hottest stretch of the year, when a lot of people are going to be getting together, being outside, cookouts, all that sort of stuff for the 4th of July. WRL's Sean Gallagher caught up with local families to see how they're preparing for some dangerous temperatures.
The splash pad at Gibson Play Plaza was packed today, but with temperatures expected to be 10 to 15 degrees warmer next week, it's going to be a madhouse here. So whether you're running through water or drinking plenty of it, it's best to be mindful if you're outside next week. Finding water on a hot day, one of life's simple pleasures.
Spray them down, hose them down, basically.
But Joanna Ginsburg doesn't have to get drenched like her son Milo to get some relief.
I will get close enough that it misses me without getting fully drenched.
Everyone will be fully drenched next week if you're not near water outside. Temperatures could hit 103. Dangerous even for tried and true North Carolinians.
While our bodies have a great ability to adapt and help us, they don't give us the early signs to just go, hey, it's time to go win.
Dr. Ryan Lamb at UNC Rex says they always see an increase in patients in the ER when there are hot spikes, either from heat exhaustion itself or other medical conditions inflamed by the heat.
So we see more kidney problems, we see more congestive heart failure, asthma, COPD.
So even if it feels like a desert, know that dessert may be what the doctor ordered.
One cotton candy?
It's really good.
Or if all else fails, remember cooler times.
In vacation, we went scuba diving.
And as always, listen to your elders.
Stay hydrated. Keep something cool if you have to put like a wet towel or cool towel around your neck.
And Dr. Lamb tells me if you're starting to feel lightheaded, just find a cool spot, drink plenty of water, you should be fine. But if it's more serious, you're feeling disoriented or your body temperature gets above 104 degrees, find professional help immediately. Conditions like those for just an hour can be life-threatening. In Raleigh, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
All right, thank you, Sean. So the DMV in our state has had a lot of problems over the years, mostly this kind of stuff, long lines, people waiting and waiting forever and ever, lack of appointments, them being short-staffed. One office in Durham has got a new one to add to the list, and I'll be honest, never saw this one coming. Bed bugs. Now that site is closed for weeks just to get it under control. WRAL's Bailey Stamos live outside of the building tonight. Bailey, how did they even come across this? How did bed bugs and the DMV come together?
Well, Dan, we are at the East Durham location off of South Miami Boulevard tonight, and you can see those cones out here signifying that this office is closed. This comes after the North Carolina Department of Transportation sent out a notice this afternoon that this location would be closed for the next several weeks for pest control and facility maintenance. The NCDOT confirming to WRAL today the pests in question are bed bugs. A representative from the NCDMV telling us a man came in on Wednesday. A customer reported it to staff. That staff set aside a row of chairs to be tested, and a company confirmed they were bed bugs the next day. The DMV told us the office was open on Thursday, but closed around 2 p.m. once the test came back. We've also asked the DMV other questions like why the office remained open before the test came back and if anyone at this location was notified of the potential exposure. We haven't heard back yet.
Look, I'm not a bed bug expert by any means. I've just never heard of anything like this. Have you been able to talk to any of the people who were maybe inside during these time periods?
Yeah, Dan, I spoke to a woman on the phone briefly today who says she was here on Wednesday and witnessed that man who could have been the potential exposure, and he was sitting there for hours. And she's just confused and concerned at why the DMV did not close sooner.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep asking questions. Quite a story. Bailey, thank you so much. Hey, we want to get you caught up on some of the other things tonight. These are the 5 things you should know right now. A man accused of killing his wife in Johnston County will remain in jail without bond. He's being held on an ICE detainer. The shooting happened at a manufacturing facility in Smithfield. We confirmed today that the woman did, in fact, work at that site. The family of a young girl killed in a boating accident put up signs around the lake where it happened, urging people to boat sober. Brooklyn Carroll died last summer. Deputies arrested a boater accused of being drunk while hitting and killing her. Another woman was hurt in the crash as well and had to have her leg amputated. Cumberland County will send a resolution to the city of Fayetteville hoping to continue conservation around a combined emergency communications center there. A new bill in the General Assembly would force the combination there to happen. On Wednesday, Fayetteville officials said that they had been blindsided and didn't support this effort. So not really clear on what's going to happen next. We'll stay up to date on it for you. North Carolina-based Samaritan's Purse is headed to South America after 2 deadly earthquakes. Their cargo jet will airlift life-saving supplies tomorrow, including an emergency field hospital capable of treating more than 100 people a day. Part of Airport Boulevard is closed due to an emergency water main repair. The town of Cary says the closure near Sorrel Grove Church Road, the center turn lane there, and the left lane to I-40 is closed. Repairs are expected to go until late tonight. Every day, we hear from so many of you. Your feedback and your ideas help to drive this newscast. Tonight, we are diving into the 7 p.m. mailbag to answer some of your questions here on this Friday. We're going to start with Ken. He asked, whatever became of the quarantined passengers from the cruise ship? So Ken is talking about the hantavirus, and he's got some excellent timing with this question. As of this week, all the Americans that were on board finished their quarantine. No one got sick. Imagine being on that boat the whole time. Nobody got sick. And they don't need any sort of follow-up, not on the boat, but, in quarantine. It's back to normal life for them for now. So we've got a pair of questions about the state budget. Ron wants to know if the state passes raises in 2026 in July, will the raises be retroactive to July 2025 since this is a budget for that year? And Tim asked, what if the current budget operates at a deficit? Is unlimited borrowing allowed under state law? So we got 2 questions there. We're going to tackle the first one first. No, the raises are not expected to be retroactive. So state lawmakers still haven't hammered out the final budget agreement. So maybe that changes. I bet it doesn't. But the way it is planned right now, they're not going to go back to last year. Lawmakers floated the idea of possibly giving a one-time bonus as a way to make up for the year without getting the raise. But that's it. To Tim's question about the current budget and the possible deficit in borrowing, state law doesn't allow that to happen. All right, the spending levels are what they are. The state cannot exceed that. Back into the mailbag now. This question coming from Dale. He asked, who and how does any government entity keep track of who voted and died before election results. So he's probably referring to a story that aired a little earlier this week where some Wake County Election Board members got in a bit of trouble for counting the ballots of 3 dead voters in 2024, people who voted early and then died prior to the actual votes being counted on Election Day. The answer to Dale's question, so the state and county board of elections, they work in tandem and they monitor all of this. And it's a little simpler than it sounds. I mean, basically the county election workers just cross-reference the voters with the county's list of people who died. They keep track of that sort of thing. The County Board of Elections can decide whether to count someone's ballot if they voted, then died before the results were finalized. They then send their list to the state. And there's been a little bit of conflict over this recently. The state sent out some guidance in the past few years telling counties to consider a voter's qualifications based on if they were alive on Election Day. And that means if someone votes early or by mail and then dies after casting their vote, but before it's actually counted, the state may tell the county not to count that person's vote after the final results are submitted. It's confusing. I know. There's actually another push to get another group involved in this process. And an elections bill going through the General Assembly would have DHHS play a role if it's passed. We'll keep you posted. We'll let you know what happens. One of the best parts of this show is when we get to do this sort of thing and answer your questions. You have great questions. A lot of smart people at home watching this newscast. We are so lucky for that. So please send us more emails. Let us know what is on your mind. 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. College sports changes rapidly. NIL, the transfer portal, it opened up the floodgates to all sorts of problems. The NCAA and schools have spent years searching for solutions. Now we're seeing some momentum. We're going to take a trip to Murph's Turf to talk about some of the changes that could clean things up. College sports is fun, but it's a bit of a mess. Every year, coaches and schools are complaining a bit about the chaos of things like the transfer portal and the apparent endless push to make these giant mega conferences. And the big schools coming in with the deep pockets and scooping up all the talent. So we've seen that happen year after year. They've been begging for anything to try and bring some calm to college sports. We're starting to see a little bit of movement there. New NCAA rules were passed just this week, and Congress could even get involved before it's all said and done. To get a better sense of what's going on and where we stand right now, I took a trip to Murph's Turf. Murph, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Dan, how are you?
So, good. It seems like the NCAA is finally trying to regain a little bit of control over the Wild West of college sports.
Yeah, they've passed the new age-based rules that say your 5-year clock starts when you enroll in college or when you turn 19, and this, I think, is an effort to stop guys from playing for 7, 8, even 9 years in some cases. We're very familiar with age-based restrictions, right? In youth sports, you're playing on the 10 and under team, the 12 and under team. Well, NCAA says they're 24 and under, and that's going to be the limit on what athletes can do.
What was the pushback to that?
Well, there was a lawsuit, right? This was brought to stop lawsuits, and immediately there was a lawsuit filed by fourth-year guys who aren't being retroactively added to this class, including Seth Trimble. He would be the best example of a player that falls in this category. He has not filed a lawsuit, but he is one of those guys who would have had a 5th year under the new rules, but doesn't have it under the old rules.
So with redshirting kind of going away, that was strategy for a lot of coaches. They would sit certain players, only let them play a certain amount. Is that going to change maybe the way we see lineups and younger players playing in games?
I think particularly in football, it's going to be an issue. You can get guys reps on special teams without worrying about burning a year out. So if you can go be on the field goal block or the punt block team, you can get some reps, maybe save some reps from the star players by giving them to younger players without worrying about burning a year of eligibility. I mean, one of the best examples of this was MJ Morris, right? Starting quarterback for North Carolina State, who said, no, I'm going to redshirt so I can have 3 more years to get paid instead of continuing to play out this season. Well, in the future, that won't be an option for him.
It's a little disappointing, though. I thought I had 4 years left of eligibility. Never played D1 linebacker. The dream is finally gone. Another change that we're starting to see, or a potential change, is with the conferences. What's happening there?
Yeah, well, this is a case of be careful what you wish for. The NCAA and its member schools have been lobbying Congress for years to give some antitrust exemptions regulations, to put in some rules around transfers and NIL and revenue sharing, things like that. Well, Congress, when they got their hands involved, said, you know what, we don't like these conferences getting bigger and bigger and bigger and leaving our schools that we represent out. So as part of this Protect College Sports Act, they've included some provisions that would stop the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big 12 from expanding and realigning and poaching members from their conferences and others. And so this is a major issue. The SEC and the Big Ten are not in favor of this. And instead of stopping conference realignment, what this bill may do is put a shot clock on realignment. And anyone who wants to change conferences may have to act even faster to get out of the league that they're in, because this bill may be coming down the pike.
When does that shot clock expire?
Well, July 1st is the date where teams usually have to notify their conference that they're leaving. And with this bill looming, it'll be interesting to see if anyone feels the need to go ahead and jump and do that.
Boy, oh boy. All right. Thank you, Murph.
Thank you.
So, Kat Campbell. First of all, beautiful night at Fenton. I do see a couple little raindrops, it looks like, falling in front of the screen. Where do we start? I mean, we have the weather next week is going to be hot.
Yeah.
Crazy hot.
First, happy Friday. We'll start with that.
Start there.
Before we get to the chaos, we have storms this weekend and then a big heat wave for the weekend. So get out, play in this now. Few sprinkles, nothing compared to what is on the way here pretty soon. And they are seeing some rain at Fenton and Cary. You can see those spotty showers right now moving in to Apex, parts of Cary, Morrisville as well. This is just plain old rain. There's no thunder and lightning at the moment. It's not terribly heavy. Just enjoyable rain. It's not a whole lot, but we'll take what we can get as those showers move north and east. Tomorrow, the storms could be more intense, especially between about 3 and 9 o'clock. And I will say the threat for severe weather has actually gone down a bit tomorrow. Most of us are now under a level 1 risk instead of a level 2 threat, but damaging wind gusts and lightning remain possible. Highs this weekend are in the low 90s. Hour by hour, rain chances tomorrow, just 20% early on. We adjusted rain chances up to about 50% by 4 through 8 o'clock. A reminder, 50% means about half of our viewing area will see showers and storms tomorrow. That leaves half of us without rain, and that's the nature of these scattered summertime storms. Here we go with the big heat wave ahead for 4th of July weekend. Record heat is likely. The heat dome is right on top of North Carolina. That does two things. It heats us up in a major way. It's also going to prevent storms from forming because the air can't rise because there's sinking air there. 100 for the high Wednesday, not quite to the record high, but our first 100 of the stretch. Thursday, 101 would tie a record. Friday, 103 would break a record. Saturday, 101 would tie another record for the 4th of July. And when you look at the heat index numbers, they are higher than that. Wednesday, we're kind of borderline for the heat advisory, between 100 and 105 for the heat index. Thursday, we'll probably see a heat advisory issued, 106, the heat index forecast. Friday, we could actually see an excessive heat warning issued. We only average about one of those per year, even here in North Carolina, so they are still a big deal for our area. Saturday, 107 would warrant another heat advisory likely. It is going to be sizzling hot. People are going to be outside for long periods of time this weekend. It's 4th of July weekend. Find a way to stay cool. Even if you are headed to the pool, the lake, the beach, a splash pad, I still think that you're going to need to take some extra breaks inside. Just take care of yourself in this heat. And we'll have tips over the next week on how to do that. Just know, though, this is really the real deal for a heat wave, even for us here in North Carolina. 93 degrees tomorrow, 92 Sunday. Sounds tolerable compared to what is on the way next week. By the way, we do have that lightning bolt Monday. I just want to let you know it's a much lower chance for rain than what we see this weekend.
All right, good stuff. Thank you, Kat. The Canes Stanley Cup celebration is really just getting started. It'll soon travel around the world with the players. And we'll look back at some of the places it went in 2006, the last time the Canes were champs, in your Friday moment of nostalgia. The Canes are already moving on to the next season. You know, the draft is tonight. There are kind of a bunch of rumors swirling around. What are they going to do? What kind of moves are they going to make to potentially improve the team? But let's not go there tonight. Let's think about the championship, the Stanley Cup celebration. That's still going on. It lasts all summer. The players are guaranteed one day with the cup each. And over the years, it's been to some pretty wild places. Tonight, we are going into the archive. And we'll look at some of the spots the Cup has traveled to. Back in 2006, of course, the last time the Hurricanes won the championship. We appreciate you being with us all week here at 7 o'clock. We love that you email us in 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Have a fantastic weekend as we leave you with this, your Friday moment of nostalgia.
Even while the game was going on, hundreds of Canes fans lined up for a glimpse of the Stanley Cup. The trophy is freshly engraved with the Hurricanes' names.
I'm so emotional, I don't know what to do looking at it.
How do you think your Stanley Cup compares to the real one? I don't know. Each member of the winning team gets a day with the Cup, so it traveled around the world this summer.
I guess the farthest we went was probably Omsk, Russia, which with Tverdovsky. That'd probably be the farthest east, and I guess the farthest west would be Campbell River with Rod Brendamore and everything in between.
Cam Ward ate cereal from the Cup in Canada, while Nicholas Valine took it to a fire-heated hot tub in Switzerland. Eric Stahl hugged it next to his lakeside home.
It's just a huge thrill to sit back and watch the excitement and enjoyment it brings to them and to their family and friends back home.
It's something to feel good about. So many ugly things going on now, and this is something to feel good about.